So we understood that in each BIM project, everybody has a kind of responsibility for itself. A person will create the model, another person will coordinate the files, another person will analyze different things, and finally a person will make decision. Here, there must be a person to connect these teams with each other to control the project. So the person who does this work will be BIM manager, the person who gets sure that all teams are working properly and with one standard. So now let's see that what kind of responsibilities are for BIM manager toward each team. So in modeling team is engine of producing the information in the project. Modelers will have the responsibility for geometry, spaces, and environment of the project. So first of all, BIM manager will define based on the EIR or needs of the client or international standards BEP. So then it will define that the modelers, how the modelers should name the files, what kind of folders they must have, and how they have to upload the files through CDE. Because it might be like this, that each team will be from different countries. This action will cause that all of the models will be completely clear and we have discipline in all teams. So then we will go for LOD or level of development that it will just define it for each phase of the delivery, and the modelers will understand that how much they have to be exact and careful for the works they need, for example, the kind of total volume, or they have to just go for details. If it is not clear, because the details are not clear, they have to spend a lot of time for modeling. So one of the really most important works and duties for BIM managers controlling the quality of the works of each team model checking. So it has to check that the models are based on the standards and the data are complete, and we don't have any kind of interferences inside or through the projects. So finally, actually, the delivery of the data models is carried out under the supervision of the BIM manager. So let's say that better. BIM manager is like a roadmap. I mean, the road will define the discipline that the final model will be completely reliable. So what responsibilities does the BIM manager have toward the BIM coordinator? It is the right hand of the BIM manager. So if we can say BIM manager is quality supervisor, the coordinator technical executor of those decisions. I mean, some actions like coordination of those works or clash detections, like with some softwares like Navisworks or other things, are done by BIM coordinator. And also, it will combine the models through first. And BIM manager should check actually the clashes and some reports that have got prepared by BIM coordinators, and by the end it must decide that what teams or what team should work on those problems, and for example how much this action could be effective on the project. In fact, coordinator is involved in day-to-day details like model clash detection, file coordination, and fixing issues, but BIM manager has broader goals, and it has to get sure that the technical decisions are made by coordinators exactly. They are aligned with client's decisions. So BIM manager is taking care of all of the project to get sure that all of the works, day-to-day works that are done by coordinator will be exactly on path. On toward consultant. About consultant, the main duty of the BIM manager is to giving or presenting the clear data. A consultant is looking for practical information about the model, not just 3D model. Yeah, it wants to understand that how good the quality of the model is, about the clashes, and is information of the models okay for expenses of the project or not. So BIM manager should design BEP in a way that all of the path of the data will be completely clear with consultant. For example, what data with what formats and what time it has to be actually delivered to consultant, and as a kind of result, who will be responsible for actually accuracy of the reports. The analytical reports that are prepared for consultant, they must should include modeling quality, modeling progress percentage, an indicator that defines the quality of the model, status of the coordination between disciplines and teams, and other cases. So these reports are tools for decisions of the consultant. So in actually sessions that are held with them, they will just interpret these things, that what information will be for the model. So consultant will make decisions, make important decisions for a project based on the things that are delivered to them from the manager. And toward the client, we can say also client, about client or employer. It is the most important work of the manager, because the final decision will be made by employer, and it is really important. The first step is EIR, employer information requirement. It means that I should understand that, for example, what information is getting asked by the employer, and after that these needs will be turned to a kind of execution, actually program, based on into the BEP, and all the teams should follow those rules. Actually, BIM managers should express all of the technical things of the project to the client. For example, instead of LOD of the modeling has got finished and just 3 clashes are remained, BIM managers should say that the modeling has got done and we have just 3 small things, and solving those problems will take about a week, and for example it will affect on the project. By this way the client or employer will understand that, for example, how the project will be, and it can make the good decisions for the project. And finally, and the final delivery, BIM manager will be responsible for gathering and controlling all of the things related to the project, and will get sure that all of the files are complete, up to date, and they have to be similar with the things that are existing in BEP, and it will assure the employer that everything that you are getting will be exactly based on the things we had in contract. So, as a kind of conclusion, if modeling will be producer and coordinator will coordinate the different things, and consultant will be a kind of analyzer. Finally, the client or employer will be a person who decides, and BIM manager will just connect these teams with each other. And for example, simply we can say each places that you can say see a discipline, we have to know that we have a BIM manager in there.